Section 6.7, Example 5 on page 481, we have functions that model real-world behavior are often expressed as formulas with meaningful variables, like a equals pi r squared for the area of a circle. Strictly speaking, the inverse formula would be r equals pi times a squared, but this expresses a false relationship between a and r. It is better to leave the variables in place and solve for r as a function of a. So for example, we have a equals pi r squared as the original formula. And the same formula but inversely expressed would be r equals the square root of a over pi. Example 5 says the function d equals 4.9 t squared represents the distance d in meters that an object falls in t seconds due to Earth's gravity. Find the inverse of this function. How long in seconds does it take for the cliff diver shown to reach the water below? Notice that in the diagram we have a distance of 24 meters before the diver reaches the water. The first step is to write the equation from the problem. D equals 4.9 t squared. Just like we did in previous lessons, we want to isolate this t. So we're going to start by dividing both sides by 4.9. 4.9 over 4.9 becomes 1, so we're left with just t squared, and on the left we have d divided by 4.9. To undo the square, we're going to square root both sides. Normally you would have a plus or a minus on the opposite side. However, we're talking about time, and we're not going to use negative time, so we're only going to look at the principal root. This leaves us with t equals the square root of d divided by 4.9. Again, in the picture, they showed us that the distance is 24 meters, so we can plug that right in. Square root of 24 over 4.9 is about 2.2. So it will take about 2.2 seconds for the cliff diver to reach the water. To solve the square root of 24 over 4.9, I don't expect you to do this in your head, so you would either use a calculator or Desmos. If you're using Desmos, you can use the square root button and then choose the fraction button, and it will put you right up top. You can type 24, click down, or click right on it, and you can add in 4.9. Once you do that, it starts to give you the answer right away, and you can see that it is about 2.2 seconds. The work for this problem is written out on the following slide. And now I would like you to try number 9. The formula for converting temperatures from Celsius to Fahrenheit is F equals 9 over 5 C plus 32. For part A, find the inverse of the formula, is the inverse a function, and for part B, use the inverse to find the Celsius temperature that corresponds to 25 degrees Fahrenheit.